Level 1. Trash Tier. Neil Breen and Tommy Wiseau. Trash tier directors aren't defined by bad luck. They're defined by pure, unfiltered chaos. They don't just miss the mark. They throw the dart backwards and somehow still draw a crowd. Neil Breen and Tommy Wiseau are the twin gods of cinematic disaster. Their movies so broken they loop back around into legend. Tommy Wiseau's The Room is the accidental masterpiece of incompetence. Every shot, every line delivery, every green screen skyline is wrong in a way that feels deliberate, yet it isn't. Shot simultaneously on 35mm film and HD video for no reason at all, it became a midnight movie phenomenon not because it worked, but because it failed in the most watchable way possible. Wiseau's mystery, his money, his accent, his obsession with fame only added to the myth. Neil Breen took that formula and doubled down. Films like Fateful Findings and Twisted Pair play like fever dreams of a man convinced he's saving the world through cyber prophecy and monologues about corruption. Breen writes, directs, stars, edits, and builds the sets himself, and somehow that makes it worse. These filmmakers never evolved, never learned, and never cared to. They turned failure into art, incompetence into identity. In trash tier, cinema doesn't aspire to greatness. It simply exists, unapologetically broken and bizarre. Level 2. Bad tier. Michael Bay and Roland Emmerich. The bad tier directors are the kings of controlled chaos. Filmmakers who know every trick in the book except the one that makes us feel something. They dominate the box office but leave nothing behind once the credits roll. Michael Bay and Roland Emmerich are the perfect examples, masters of destruction, architects of cinematic noise. Michael Bay built an empire on lens flares, explosions, and slow-motion hero shots. Transformers, Armageddon, 6 Underground, each one louder, faster, and emptier than the last. He shoots every frame like a car commercial, turning spectacle into sugar. His movies make billions, yet critics call them visual junk food. All flavor, no nourishment. Still, Bay doesn't care. He knows his audience. His camera never rests. His edits never breathe, and somehow that chaos prints money. Roland Emmerich, meanwhile, turned global destruction into a genre. Independence Day 2012. Moonfall. Humanity crumbles beautifully under his direction. Entire cities collapse in CGI perfection, but the stories beneath them always feel recycled. His films are comfort food for catastrophe lovers, predictable, noisy, and safe. Bay and Emmerich prove that technical command isn't the same as vision. They can choreograph mayhem with surgical precision, but when the dust settles, there's nothing left but smoke. Level 3. Mid-tier. Zack Snyder and Guy Ritchie. Mid-tier directors have something the bad tier never will: identity. You can pause a frame from one of their films and instantly know who made it, but their greatest strength often becomes their ceiling. They build entire careers on aesthetic, yet struggle to evolve beyond it. Zack Snyder and Guy Ritchie are masters of style who remain trapped inside their own visual worlds. Zack Snyder turned comic panels into cinema with 300, Watchmen, and Man of Steel. His slow-motion battles, desaturated palettes, and mythic framing gave every shot the weight of a painting. But beneath the spectacle, his characters often feel more like statues than people. His storytelling isn't emotional, it's operatic. Fans worship his vision while critics call it self-indulgent. The Snyder Cut proved one thing: when unfiltered, he delivers epic scale and sincerity, but not always coherence. Guy Ritchie, on the other hand, is kinetic chaos. Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels and Snatch made him a legend of British crime cinema. His dialogue crackles, his editing whiplashes, and his humor cuts sharp. Yet when he stepped outside that genre, King Arthur, Aladdin, his magic dulled. Both directors have fingerprints, not signatures. They've built recognizable worlds, but not yet timeless ones. Their films dazzle, entertain, and vanish, stylish echoes without an aftershock. Level 4. OK tier. Jon Favreau and Ron Howard. The OK tier belongs to Hollywood's most reliable craftsmen, directors who don't chase artistic glory, but deliver exactly what studios need. Their films are polished, profitable, and safe. You've seen their work 100 times, even if you can't remember a single distinct frame. Jon Favreau and Ron Howard are the blueprint for this level. Consistent, capable, and utterly replaceable. Jon Favreau is the architect of modern blockbuster cinema. Iron Man launched the MCU and reshaped Hollywood forever. The Jungle Book and The Lion King reinvented virtual production, while The Mandalorian changed how television is made. He's a technical pioneer, but his movies rarely carry a personal signature. Favreau doesn't impose a vision, he executes one. His work feels engineered for maximum appeal, never personal risk. Ron Howard, meanwhile, is the industry's emergency call. When chaos strikes, he fixes it. From Apollo 13 to A Beautiful Mind, his films are textbook examples of efficient storytelling. When Solo: A Star Wars Story lost its directors, Howard stepped in and delivered a solid, middle-of-the-road hit. Reliable, controlled, never controversial. Favreau and Howard are the studio system at its best and worst, dependable visionaries of the ordinary. They never fail spectacularly, but they never soar either. Level 5. Good tier. Denis Villeneuve and Greta Gerwig. The good tier is where cinema starts to feel alive again. These are directors who combine technical mastery with genuine vision, filmmakers who still believe in emotion, meaning, and craftsmanship. They're not just directing movies, they're shaping modern culture. Denis Villeneuve and Greta Gerwig represent two sides of that brilliance, one epic, one intimate, both redefining what great filmmaking looks like in the 21st century. Denis Villeneuve treats science fiction like sacred text. Arrival, Blade Runner 2049, and Dune aren't just movies, they're visual meditations. His worlds feel massive yet human, vast but precise. He uses silence as power, stillness as tension. Villeneuve's style is minimalist, but his scale is mythic. Dune Part 2 didn't just succeed, it proved audiences still crave intelligent spectacle. He's the rare director whose artistry survives blockbuster budgets. Greta Gerwig took the opposite path, turning personal storytelling into global phenomenon. From Lady Bird to Little Women and then Barbie, she built a bridge between indie sincerity and pop spectacle. Barbie wasn't just a movie, it was a cultural earthquake, balancing humor, feminism, and neon plastic with startling heart. Villeneuve and Gerwig are proof that cinema's future isn't dying, it's evolving. They make art that entertains and entertains that endures. Level 6. Great tier. Christopher Nolan, Jordan Peele, and Bong Joon-ho. The great tier belongs to filmmakers who don't just direct movies, they redefine how we experience them. Every frame they create ripples through the industry, inspiring imitation, debate, and awe. Christopher Nolan, Jordan Peele, and Bong Joon-ho are three modern masters who changed what mainstream cinema can be: intellectually bold, emotionally charged, and unapologetically distinct. Christopher Nolan built his reputation on precision. Inception, Interstellar, and Oppenheimer are more than blockbusters, they're engineering feats of storytelling. He bends time, structure, and science into emotional puzzles, filmed with the rigor of a physicist and the imagination of a poet. No CGI explosion feels as real as a practical one in Nolan's world. He treats film like a living mechanism, one that must be touched, not simulated. Jordan Peele rewired horror. Get Out and Us turned social commentary into terror, mixing paranoia with satire. He made audiences fear systems, not monsters, and proved that horror could carry truth disguised as screams. And Bong Joon-ho blurred all boundaries. Parasite won Best Picture because it didn't belong to any genre, it was every genre. Comedy, tragedy, thriller, all stitched into one flawless metaphor. These directors don't follow trends, they create them. They turn cinema back into conversation. Level 7. GOAT tier. Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, Quentin Tarantino, and Alfonso Cuarón. The GOAT tier isn't about box office, awards, or trends, it's about permanence. These are the directors whose names are cinema itself. They didn't just master the craft, they rewrote the language of film. Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, Quentin Tarantino, and Alfonso Cuarón each changed what storytelling could be, emotionally, visually, and philosophically. Martin Scorsese captured the heartbeat of human contradiction. From Taxi Driver to Goodfellas to Killers of the Flower Moon, he has spent half a century dissecting guilt, morality, and obsession. His camera moves like conscience itself, restless, alive, haunted. He's not just a filmmaker, he's the memory of cinema. Steven Spielberg defined wonder. Jaws invented the blockbuster. Schindler's List redefined empathy. He balanced childhood awe with adult pain in a way no one else could. Spielberg doesn't just tell stories, he shapes how generations dream. Quentin Tarantino turned pop culture into high art. With Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill, and Inglourious Basterds, he proved dialogue could dance, violence could sing, and structure could be chaos with rhythm. His voice became so distinct, it became a genre of its own. And Alfonso Cuarón, the quiet revolutionary. From Children of Men to Gravity to Roma, his lens captures humanity's fragility with divine precision. He paints emotion through motion, chaos through silence. These directors don't just make films, they define the measure of greatness itself. Some directors make movies, others make history. The GOATs don't just survive changing eras, they create them. But cinema is still evolving. Somewhere out there, a young filmmaker is watching their work right now, waiting for their turn to climb the ladder, and maybe one day, rewrite it.